Let's move on to Arizona here. Sneaky good recruiting class. I think that one that we haven't talked nearly enough about, and it starts with Koa Peat, one of the most accomplished guys. Now, translation from one level to the next, we talked about how important it is with point guards. Well, with Koa Peat, it's at the power forward spot. So not one that you typically think of as a difficult transition going high school, college, NBA, but there are definite questions about what exactly goes from one level to the next. What does go from one level to the next, though, is the night in, night out, just dominance and winning.
For sure, in Arizona to this class, I mean, we'll probably only talk about domestic guys here. The
Yeah.
international guys, Yvonne and Ceedy, both are guys to watch as well when it comes to next level production and what they're able to do on the floor. But with Koa Pete, man, he's just got a lot of tools. A big physical player. He imposes his will on you. He's able to make decisions with the ball in his hand. He can be a versatile defender. He can rebound the basketball. But he's somebody, 4 state championships in high school, 3 gold medals coming up with USA basketball. He's somebody that winning has kind of followed around. He's somebody that popped early. Everybody was chasing him, and he maintained his status not only within the top 10, but he won multiple levels with his name at the top of the scouting report. Everybody kind of knowing who he was, playing 17U as a 15, as a freshman in high school and on the Adidas 3SSB circuit. His game's a little quirky, not a great shooter, not the most laterally quick, but he's a big physical guy who has a massive basketball IQ. He's able to find advantages on the floor. He's able to create advantages on the floor. And something tricky this summer between his state championship run as a senior to USA basketball, it looks like he developed pop, like a lot of pop. He's able to get downhill, get his head up to the rim type athleticism. So eager to see how that kind of plays within
Yeah.
what he's going to give this year at Arizona. But there's so much there as a connecting piece who can make decisions with the ball in his hand.
Yeah. You add that top end athleticism to the strength, the winning, the just motor, and suddenly it goes from as I said, it's kind of a let's wait and see what the exact role is. We know that he's going to make an impact, but what is it going to look like? To okay, there starts to be an archetype there. You've seen guys who have been the super strong, super athletic guy who makes the leap and continues to develop their game throughout their career. He's joined though by Brayden Burries, who I'll be honest, I've heard wide variety of opinions on his game. It's definitely not for everyone, but I'm really intrigued by it.
For sure. And even one more thing back on Koa. Koa is a player, too, who could make a run at the first team all league type
Yep.
situation. There's a very real potential of having Dybansta, Peterson, and Koa Pete on the first team all Big 12. I mean, the freshman class in the Big 12 is huge. But looking at Brayden Burries, what you have with him is he's a lengthy 6'5" guard, comfortable with the ball in his hand, comfortable creating advantages on ball. And toggling in between that 1 and 2, the secondary initiating type role, also the finishing role, play finishing role at a guard. Strong physical. He's a little bit older with the freshman as well. Doesn't really have a lot to his game that pops, but there's a lot of substance there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff there that he brings that aids in winning, that elevates the floor of the team and helps people around him maximize what they're able to do as well. There's just a lot of stuff there, and he can finish plays, initiate plays, on ball, off ball, long, strong, positional size. There's a pretty high floor that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of guys that I've always been high on. Is the long, can handle the ball a little bit, can do what he's asked to do in a variety of roles, and I think that there's just if you can get to that point, like you said, there's a floor, and then if you can develop over your freshman year, get a high level 3-point percentage that is now on tape that people are looking at. Maybe it's more improvement on the defensive end that now people are thinking, okay, potentially a guy who can line up and be the defensive stopper in the backcourt. If you can add just 1 or 2 extra pieces to your game from the platform that he has, you start to become really, really valuable at the next level.
For sure, for sure. There's just a lot there. A baseline, like you said, a high floor.
Yep. Dwayne Aristode also in this class, a guy who comes in at the forward position and at 6'8". I'm interested to see where he fits into this team. I think more than anything, uh, I've seen some good stuff. I've seen some stuff that I'm curious about. What do you think his role will be in year one?
Well, I think he kind of brings, it's not a one-to-one situation, but I think he kind of brings a lot of the same stuff that you saw with Carter Bryant this past year. The 3-and-D type of situation, a fluid mover at a lengthy 6'8" who can space the floor and shoot the basketball. He's got athletic pop. He's got some toughness, understands a little bit of physicality as well. But the shooting is going to be the X factor. I mean, if he can get that thing in the 38% plus on volume, there's a lot to like there as the floor spacing guy who can guard multiple spots on the defensive end.
For sure. And Bryce James kind of wraps things up. He's redshirting this season, but he is part of this recruiting class here at Arizona. And look, I don't think that he ever got the kind of unfair hype that Bronny did, and we'll see how that kind of plays out over both of their careers. I think that Bryce is going to be given the long runway. Now, does that mean he's going to be better than Bronny or ever even sniff what Bronny is as a really good basketball player? Of course, comparing either of them to their dad is just completely unfair. But what is there to like about Bryce's game that could pop up after a year kind of developing?
Yeah, so he's kind of in that 6'4" range. Got a little bit of length, a little bit of pop, a little bit of shooting ability. It's going to be all about him coming into his own confidence, coming into his own comfort as a player, and kind of developing at his own pace, developing the handle a little bit, self creation, and see kind of where things go from there.